What up, YouTube family? I'm back at the drawing table. Welcome to my channel, and for those who've been here before, welcome back. I want to come at you with a quick video, and in today's video, I want to talk about not being afraid to try new things in your drawing, right? So, by trying new things, I mean just that. Try new methods, new techniques, new styles, new pencil grips. Just try some different things. You want to try these things on for size and see if they work well for you, right? Because if you do this and you do this for a significant amount of time, you might find that you might find a lot of things that you want to add to your drawing, right? Uh, Now, when I say try something, I don't mean try it for a day or two. I mean try it for a good amount of time to where you could gain a good amount of control in whatever you're trying out. Uh, so, for example, you may be a person who uses the Loomis method, right? Maybe try the Raleigh method or the Bridgman method, right? Uh, Now, say let's just say if you're a person who uses the Loomis method, and that's the method that you was introduced to first, and you've never tried another method, and you swear by the Loomis method. Well, how can you really swear by that method if you've never spent any significant amount of time trying Bridgman or trying Raleigh, right? Uh, because for some people, this is not going to happen to everybody, but for some people, uh, just because they was introduced to one first doesn't mean it's the best. And what will happen is they might find like, oh, um, I I like this other method better because I can understand like a cube square setup better than I could wrap my head or my brain around a circle cylinder setup, right? So ultimately, it's what works best for you when it comes to like trying the different methods too, and that's the most important thing, what works best for you and what can you understand better, because it's like having different teaching styles, right? Like one teacher may have one teaching style and another teacher will have another teaching style, and then you got students with different learning styles, right? And if you can identify students with certain learning styles and put them with the proper teacher, right, things will flow much better because that teaching style may complement this learning style. But if you put all those students in the opposite classes, things are more of a struggle. Things are not flowing as well because you got two kind of you got a opposing teaching style to a opposing learning style. So I would say it's good to introduce yourself to the different styles, methods, techniques, uh, pencil holes, just so you can kind of try them on for size. But you also need to spend a good amount of time doing this because when you first try to do it, you're not gonna be good at it, right? It's you're doing something new. It's just learning something new. Um, so you need to give yourself time to get comfortable using whatever method, style, technique you're trying on, right? So for me, for example, one of the major things that I changed or I added to my drawing was a pencil hold, right? I changed the way I hold my pencil. I added a pencil grip to my drawing, right? And it's the pencil grip that I use most now. But when I first tried to use this pencil grip, I ran from it. And that pencil grip is it's called the drumstick grip. And that's the drawing grip that I use mostly when I draw. Uh, Now, before I use a traditional pencil grip, and the traditional pencil grip is just kind of like your normal writing pencil grip, like the one that you use in school to write your papers or whatever, like just your normal handwriting grip. That's the one I use. Now, when I first tried that drumstick pencil grip, I had no control. It was like I couldn't draw. It was like I was drawing. It like set me back years of how I what I felt like I could produce, right? And so I ran from that because I was in my mind. I was thinking, well, I can draw better the other way. Why would I do this? But what I should have done was I should have been like, okay, let me add this and let me try it out for a good amount of time. And then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But you need to try it out for a good amount of time. So eventually I came back to that grip and tried it again. And that's when I was a little older and I was like, okay, I'm going to try this pencil grip out and um, I'm going to give myself some time to do it. Right. And so I started using that pencil grip when I could, and I started getting more comfortable with that grip. And now it's a grip that I use mostly when I draw. And one of the big benefits I feel with that grip is I get more flow with my drawing, right? So I get more movement in a drawing. It's not as stiff and rigid as it was when I drew with the traditional grip. Now, I say that to say that one grip is not better than the other. They just do different things, and you have to realize that with every style, with every technique, every approach to drawing, they have different things that they kind of favor, like they do better, like I would say advantages and disadvantages. So for instance, with the drumstick pencil grip hold versus the traditional pencil grip hold, what I find is, like I said, with the drumstick, I could get better flow and better movement with the drawing, right? But when it comes to getting in, when I want to do like more detail, then I move back to the traditional grip. Like when it's time to put, like, say, the eyes in and the eyebrows and the lashes and all that, like more fine tuned, heavy detail work, then that traditional pencil grip works better for me than the drumstick grip, right? So, but if I would have never tried it, I would have never been able to add the drumstick pencil grip to my toolbox. And then another thing that I learned while introducing myself to the drumstick pencil grip uh, was I started learning that I need to draw more with my whole arm, right? Like, because what I used to do was generally I would kind of set my hand down on the paper and kind of draw with my wrist and my fingertips, right? So wrist fingertips was most of the drawing, right? And that's why you don't generally get a lot of flow using this pencil grip, the traditional pencil grip, is because you're kind of limited in your movement and how far you can go. But so learning that I need to draw with my whole arm, the drawing comes from the shoulders. It can come from the shoulder, it can come from the elbow, it can come from the wrist, it can come from the fingertips, right? And for me, like how I think about it is the more detailed I get, the further down the arm it goes. So when I'm working with less detail, I'm more in the shoulder region. And then if it gets a little bit more detailed, like then it moves more to the elbow. So take for instance, if I'm drawing like kind of the overall silhouette, like say the torso, the chest torso area, and moving down the leg or whatever. Uh, I'm kind of more in that shoulder region. But then say if I'm kind of getting to the smaller pieces, like say not the upper part of the arm, but maybe the bottom part, like the wrists and the hands and stuff. Now it's starting kind of moving down the elbow more, and then like say the fingers, and then it kind of maybe starts. And this kind of depends on the size of the picture too, but then it kind of starts to move towards the wrist a little more. But so the more detail, the further down the arm it goes for me. That's this what seems to work for me. Uh, so yeah, so that's what I get from using those different grips. So uh, I get more flow from the drumstick grip and more detail from that traditional pencil grip. So I think that is all I have for you guys today. Just, wanted to talk about not being afraid to try those new things. And when you do try those new things, just spend a good amount of time trying them. Don't do it for like a day, two, or a week. Like try them for a good amount of time, to where you can become comfortable with it. And then that's when you become pretty comfortable with it and confident in it, then that's when you can kind of make the decision of, do I want to keep this or do I want to just throw this on the back burner? It'll happen. It'll probably be some things where you're like, you know what? I tried this method and I still love this method better, or it might work the other way. It may be like, oh, I tried this method, but I don't even touch this method anymore. I like this method better. Or it may be, which I would say in my case, it may be, I think probably in a lot of people cases, it may be that you tried this method and you tried another method, and then it's things that you like from this method and it's things that you like from another method, and then you start to kind of like bridge the two, right? You start to kind of develop like your own approach in how you draw. And that's, I think that's the great thing with artists. It's different approaches. It's not like a wrong way to do it, because it's more about the outcome. uh if you think about people who have like, sometimes people have like unorthodox ways of doing things or seeing things, but a lot of times they still getting great outcomes. So it's nothing really wrong with how they doing it. They just don't view and see things the same way as most people do. But that's all I have today. Just try different things and try them for a good amount of time and see how they can work out for you, and see if that can be something you can add to your drawing. All right, I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.